I think the Tory attack is just disgusting, to be honest. Politics is a 24/7 business. If you're a political leader, you've got to be available to deal with decisions, and I'm pretty certain Sir Keir Starmer, if he is the Prime Minister, will be available to take decisions. But a politician should not be criticised for wanting to spend time with their loved ones and to make sure they've got a good, strong family relationship. That is precious to every one of us, no matter our politics. And for the Conservatives to make an issue with that tells us all we need to know about the Conservatives.
Look, this is just increasingly desperate stuff. I actually can hardly believe that 48 hours before an election, the Conservative Party has got nothing possible positive to say as they go into this. I've been arguing throughout this campaign, you'll have heard me many times saying they haven't changed, they're just the same, nothing's going to change, and they're proving it. Because they are not saying, look, if you vote Tory and vote Conservative on Thursday, these things will happen. They're just in this negative, desperate loop. And it is really desperate. My family is really important to me, as they will be to every single person watching this. And I just think it's increasing desperation, bordering on hysterical now.
You paid testament to your generosity of spirit. Is there anything you admire about Sir Keir?
Well, I think actually when I hear him talk, these jobs all take a toll on everyone's family, and I think he does a very good job of balancing, family life and work life, and making sure that he prioritises that and makes time for it. And I think when you hear him talk about that, that's a nice thing.
Obviously, we've been working to strengthen our position over the course of this election campaign, and we're working very hard to secure a positive result in the election on Thursday. Voters in Scotland should be clear that the election is now over in England. The Tories are on the broadcast media this morning essentially conceding the election this morning. So in Scotland we've got a choice between electing Labour MPs who will do what they're told by Keir Starmer, who will vote for the spending cuts that Keir Starmer wants to put in place, or they can vote for the Scottish National Party MPs who will act to protect Scotland's interests, who will work to make sure that we act against spending cuts and we can have a future made in Scotland for Scotland. And that's the simple choice that people have in this election in Scotland. We've been seeing a strengthening of our position over the course of this election campaign. We're working very hard to make sure we deliver a successful result in the election tomorrow. And voters in Scotland should be confident that they can exercise the vote. They know there's going to be a change of government. That's all that's been sorted out in England because the Tories are so badly beaten in England. But in Scotland there's the opportunity to elect SNP MPs who will protect Scotland's interests, who will campaign against the continuation of Tory austerity by the Labour Party, and make sure we've got a future made in Scotland for Scotland.
What happens if the SNP goal to get the majority of seats doesn't come to fruition?
We'll go through this election to win that majority of seats in Scotland. That's my objective, that's what the SNP is campaigning for, and we're working hard to make sure that happens.
But if that doesn't happen, is that a failure?
Well, we're going to campaign to win, and we'll look at all the issues that are thrown up by the election after the election. But for tomorrow, voters in Scotland should know that they've got a simple choice. There's going to be a change of government. There's going to be a Labour government. The Tories are beaten in England. They've conceded that already. And now for Scotland, the question is, do we want Labour MPs who will do what they're told by Keir Starmer and who will implement spending cuts in Scotland to continue what the Tories have done, or do they want SNP MPs who will work against austerity and spending cuts, protect the Scottish interest at all time, and make sure we've got a future made in Scotland for Scotland?